everyone, it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today to film my June reading plan with me video. I'm so excited with how this one turned out. I did go for a rainbow theme inspired by the fact that June is Pride Month, and I just think it turned out really lovely. But before we do get into the video, I do want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I've definitely worked with them a lot already, so you guys probably know the drill, but I will be talking more about them a little later on in the video. Yeah, let's kind of just jump into the video because I don't want this to be a million years long. And I do want to mention to stay tuned for the end because I did a little bit of an extra spread, and overall I'm really happy with how it turned out. It is kind of inspired and in honor of the Black Lives Matter movement that's happening right now and all the peaceful protests, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of messy, but overall I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. So let's just jump right on in. Okay, so let's jump on into my June bullet journal spread. And I'm really happy overall with how this one turned out. As many of you know, June is Pride Month, so I definitely wanted something along those lines of just kind of the rainbow pride theme like I did last year, but I didn't want it to turn out exactly like last year's, so I played around with the idea a little. Right now we're just doing my little drawing art page that I normally do on my cover page, and I started just by drawing a pretty girl. I really had no idea other than that. I knew I just wanted a pretty girl holding up a peace sign, and then I started with these clouds. So I tried to make all the clouds a different rainbowy shade, a different color of the rainbow, I mean. And I actually did this with the Arteza Real Brush pens and some water. But you'll see that later on I actually changed the method of it because this was even a little too bright for my liking. I really wanted a more pastel look to the clouds and not such a heavy, colorful, opaque look. So I actually ended up putting the color from the Real Brush pens on that Tombow plastic sheet on the side, and then picking that up with a watercolor brush, which you're gonna see in a moment. And it gave a much more pastel, soft look to the clouds, which I enjoyed a lot more, and is definitely more of the look that I was going for. And I also ended up doing more like cartoony clouds with those flat bottoms, and I really like how it turned out overall. I was actually really inspired by this bullet journal spread that I came across for the month of June actually, and I'll try and link it down below so that you guys can check it out because she does these clouds and this kind of block print that you're gonna see later on. But I did just want to draw June in cursive just for fun, I guess, but the rest of the spread has this kind of blocky, childish, I don't know really what to call it, kind of print, and I loved it. It was actually harder to do than cursive. It took me longer, which is funny. But yeah, here I'm just using my Tombow Fudenoski pen to do the little boxes, and this is always so satisfying to watch, and it's really nice that June starts on a Monday because it just looks so nice and pretty, and it is just my day's red spread, and right now I'm just filling out the key as I normally do using my Micron Pigma pen. I will link all the supplies I use down below, so check that out if you're ever wondering what bullet journal I use, what kind of pens I'm using, anything like that. It should be down there for you to find. So yeah, and then I did try and also make the numbers a little bit more not my font, I guess, and I did this using the Fudenoski pen because it added like a nice layer to it. And here I attempted to make it like a cohesive rainbow for that, but it didn't really turn out that great. So we're moving on to a brand new spread. As you know, I've kind of been in this journey of finding the perfect way to log my videos, and last month the calendar just did not work out for me. So I decided this month I wanted to do like a video schedule kind of tracking spread where I just have the weeks and 2 spaces for 2 videos per week. And at the bottom I actually have like a little area for extras just in case I end up posting an extra video for the week. But yeah, And again, I did the little blocky kind of lettering, and I actually used the Sigma pen for this one as well, instead of, I think, or Sigma, am I saying Sigma? I meant Pigma Micron pen, instead of using the Tombow Fudenosuke. And more of these little pastel clouds are appearing all over the spread. That's basically all this spread is just pastel clouds, and they're surprisingly easy to do. I mean, I'm not even sure if I'm doing them that well, but they still were easy. And I ended up adding little stars next to all the lettering because I felt like it was missing it, and it added like a whimsical touch to the spread. And I do like how it turned out overall. And I didn't use a ruler at all, which was more for the look. And for any of the highlighting that I'm doing, I'm actually using Tombow pens, not the Arteza pens, which I thought I should note. But yeah, and then over here, we are going to my books read spread. I forgot to mention, but the previous page had my TBR and my haul page as it usually does. But I actually did something a little new with my books read spread. I added a blank page on the side that just says notes, and on this I decided that I could take any notes on the books that I'm reading, such as like the names of the characters, which is something I always forget, or maybe even some quotes that really stood out to me, just really anything. And if for whatever reason I don't end up using it, then it'll just kind of be another sort of brain dump page, and I can just use it for whatever I would like to use. And I also did my books read spread just slightly differently, making each block like a separate block instead of it looking more like a chart. And I really like how it turned out, but there's only space for 9, so that's kind of a downside. But again, I do have the blank notes page, so it could always go into overflow if I end up reading more than 9 books. And more clouds. I took so long painting all of these little clouds, even though it's one of the simplest things to do, so sorry if you don't like that I sped so much through it. I just felt that it would be pretty boring if you watched me do the same technique over and over and over again. And I'm tracking the same things as usual. If I finished it, the title, the pages, the dates, and the rating, but I did switch up the areas for it all, which is cool. And here I added just a little quote that says, "There's nothing wrong with you, there's a lot wrong with the world." And ... because the end of the quote is "the world you live in," but it didn't fit. And I just added that because I felt like something was missing from the page, and I put some clouds behind it. And I really like how it turned out, actually. And this next spread is Hogsmeade. So the Magical Readathon has like a mini readathon that happens in between the owls and the newts. And this is hosted by G over at Book Roast, and she recently announced her video announcement for Hogsmeade. And so I decided to make a spread for it. I'm not entirely sure how thoroughly I will be participating, but I just loved the map so much that I decided to make a spread for it either way. So I still haven't decided if I will be participating or how much I'll be participating or if any of my books fit into the TBR, but I do actually like overall how this spread turned out. I just printed the map on parchment paper, and I did have to do some cutting because I printed it out a little too big, but I actually prefer how it looks than how originally I was going to do it sideways on just one page. And here I just kind of cut it into 2 smaller pieces and taped it in, which I love. And I used the Tombow tape glue pen. I'm not sure, it's linked down below, but I really like how it works, especially in bullet journals. It's just so easy. I used to use a glue stick, and that's pretty easy too, but this is even easier, so there's that. And I kept this one really simple. I just put in the title for Hogsmeade, and I said mini readathon, and I just made a little area for the books if I do end up participating. And on to the kind of final spread for my page, or page for my spread. And we have my actual brain dump page and the favorite of the month page, which I've been sticking with this Polaroid theme, and I absolutely adore it. I actually just use my phone memo printer at the end of the month to print out a black and white sticker of whatever my favorite book is and stick it right inside, and I think it looks really cute. And I did say some thoughts instead of brain dump, just because that video I was watching that inspired me to do this kind of spread, she said that she doesn't like saying brain dump. So I thought that was a cute idea. So originally that was going to be my last spread, but I ended up actually adding on another spread because I really wanted to make something that was in honor of the Black Lives Matter movement and the peaceful protests that are happening currently in, well, the entire world. It started in the United States, but there has been a resounding amount of support in all these other countries, and it's really incredible to see so many people come together. I just really wanted to take a moment right now and let you guys know that I will be leaving links down below for different ways that you can help if you would like to. Anywhere from donating to signing petitions, just follow those links down there and you'll definitely find something and some way to assist this. Really want to emphasize how important it is right now for all of us to amplify Black voices and check in on our friends and make sure that everyone's doing okay, because this is a really, really big deal and we have to be there for each other. This is really hard to watch. Obviously, it's hard to process, but it's very, very necessary, and I'm really, really proud of everyone right now that's participating and that's been so strong. Specifically, I really want to point you in the direction of Jessie over at Bowties and Books, particularly their Instagram, because they have been logging the process from the start and showing what's really happening, because they have been in Minneapolis from the first day of peaceful protests. And it's just been so informative. They have definitely given a lot of resources, so please check them out. I will be sure to leave them linked down below. And just in general, check out all the links. I'm sure that I will add in a ton more. So let's talk a little bit about what I used for this drawing. Right now, I'm actually going to be printing out a little quote from Martin Luther King Jr. using my foam memo printer. I wanted the quote to be more of a structured text look, and overall I'm really pleased with how that part turned out, at least. But to kind of talk about the drawing itself, I mean, it turned out a lot messier than I originally thought it would. But I originally had the idea to just do a whole bunch of fists in the air and hands being held and just us supporting each other kind of situation. But I'm remarkably bad at drawing hands, so I didn't want to draw too many, and that's when I had the idea to use watercolor in the background to kind of fill up some space. And it did turn out pretty messy, but I think it looks really, really cool overall. And then the quote itself is, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy," which is a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. And I think it's very, very appropriate for this time. Overall, I really hope you guys enjoyed how this turned out. I mean, it's not perfect, but it was a labor of love, and I think it turned out pretty cool. So I'm glad I was able to make it. So before we get into the flip through for this video, I do want to talk a little bit about today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an amazing online learning community with thousands of classes for curious and creative people to learn new skills or deepen ones that they already have. These classes can fit into almost anyone's schedule. They are really, really reasonable, most under 60 minutes, and the lessons inside are even smaller in more bite-sized proportions. Skillshare has particularly been the ideal distraction for me lately because I can feel really productive while also learning more about hobbies that calm me, like art and photography and even interior design, which I feel like you guys have heard me talk a lot about. But one class in particular that I think is going to be really, really useful to you guys especially is this class called Drawing as Self-Discovery, 5 Ways to Start by Marie Andrew. And so many of you always tell me that you wish you could draw better so you could make spreads more like mine, but that you're not creative enough. And in this class, Marie helps you understand that art is more of like a therapeutic practice and to not focus so much on whether or not it's considered good and to not focus on whether you're going to be showing it to anyone. It's more for you and for your own mental health. She has amazing prompts that can really get you to start doodling and write out of your comfort zone. And I really feel like this class is going to be useful to anyone who's been feeling out of sorts and stressed. 2020 hasn't been giving us any breaks, guys, and I really feel like this class is going to be an amazing way to release tension, which I think is really vital specifically for this time. And I definitely feel like by doing all the drawings that I did in my bullet journal, I feel so much better, and I really encourage anyone who is feeling stressed to try art, even if you're not very good at it, and I really love that that's what this class emphasizes. So if you do want to check out this class, Skillshare has been kind enough to give me a link for the first 1,000 of my subscribers, and the first 1,000 of you guys that do click on the link will get 2 months of the premium membership at Skillshare for free. And once this trial period has ended, the premium membership is still super affordable, and it's actually under $10 a month for an annual subscription. I don't know about you guys, but I spend more money on that on all of my streaming services. Every single one, I believe, is more than that. Skillshare is really affordable, and it definitely helps you feel better about yourself, whether you're being productive or just calming down and unwinding at the end of the day. So again, thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and I really hope that you guys as my subscribers can feel the same way about it. So without further ado, let's get into my flip through. I hope you guys like this more artsy style of a flip through, and I really hope you enjoy how my journal turned out for the month. I think I really love it. And yeah, I hope you're still staying super safe. Be sure to check all the links down below, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye!